So this is the 10-gallon tank that was in my closet. I wanted to use it for breathing Solowezi shrimp, but they're just so incredibly rare around here that they've never come back in stock. So I decided to take my ways otherwhere and set up my first reef tank. This sand is not live sand, it is aragonite sand, but it is mixed in with some live sand from the 50-gallon downstairs. I set this all up within an hour last night. I didn't get any footage because this was around 12 on a Saturday night, so I was pretty tired. The filter is an Aqua Clear 70. It may seem overkill on a 10-gallon as other people usually have like normal size hang on the backs, but with an Aqua Clear 70 you get much more biomedia and filtration that you would need on a saltwater tank, as smaller saltwater tanks are actually harder to maintain than bigger saltwater tanks, which is why if you want to start out with saltwater, people usually say bigger is better, because for one, the size of the tank, you can't keep a lot of fish in a 10-gallon tank. Off the top of my head, the only fish that you could reasonably keep, that you can keep in a 10-gallon tank, would be clownfish, like the normal Ocellaris clowns, no Clarkie or maroon clowns. Gobies, like clown gobies, shrimp gobies, Hector's goby, court jester goby, watchman goby, all those different kinds. Possum wrasses are another pretty cool inhabitant you can keep in a 10-gallon, but they do come with a hefty price ranging from $70 to $100. The light is the freshwater tank light that was on the 14-gallon, and if you can notice, this is the same spot that the 14-gallon tank was, so I basically had to move it all the way under this 29-gallon stand. So I had to go to Home Depot and get the piece of wood cut, but everybody's doing fine. As you can see, there is the blue bolt. The light isn't on here. Oh. Well, I did not mean to activate that, but everybody is fine. I see the four lemias, the pygmy cories I got in here. There's a blue bolt. There's a cherry. I probably spooked them with the flash. I did not mean to activate that, but I just drained the whole tank. Used about half the old tank water so that it wouldn't be much of a shock, even though it's still the same water either way if I use new water, but it doesn't really hurt. By the way, the 3 Lake Tanka ukuleles have also gotten bigger, and also if I do this with my fingers above the tank, it kind of lures in all the fish because they think it is feeding time. I will probably get 3 to 5 new multifasciatus in this tank, as the colony size has stopped increasing, and I just wanted to throw in some new strain multifasciatus to see if that'll get them breathing again. But let's move back to the 10-gallon. This tank was filled up all the way. As you can see, there are some salt. I forgot what it's called, but it's basically dried salt. But I had to take some out and put it in the Aqua Clear. I'm getting I'm live rock from the 50-gallon downstairs, so that'll help jumpstart the cycle as well. I tried to get some media from the filter, the canister filter downstairs, but the media is at the very bottom, so you'd have to disassemble everything. So I just thought the rock would be enough. In about 3 weeks, I'll probably get my first fish for this tank. It'll probably be a clownfish, considering that they are hardy and I just like the designer looks. But going into spring, if the clownfish is doing well, eating healthy, and all the tests show that their water parameters are good, this tank is getting a very unique fish, which was pretty much the reason I wanted to set up this 10-gallon. And that'll probably come out in maybe a month or so, probably aiming for March, as it is a quite expensive fish, but we'll talk about that later. I just used a hydrometer from Instant Ocean. I also used Instant Ocean Sea Mix for this tank. The pH is around, the salinity is around 1.25, probably 1.25, but I'm just gonna say 1.24 to 1.26 in this tank. There is smudges on the inside from the sand. I probably should have washed the sand first, but it declouded overnight, so the actual light I'm getting hopefully is an Aquanite A029, which I've heard for the price, it grows soft corals and LPS corals very well. And if you're a beginner, I would not recommend smaller tanks like this, like the 10 gallons, 5 gallons, Pico Reef style tanks. I would definitely recommend going at least a 30-gallon if you're a beginner, as within freshwater since this is a saltwater tank, there are these things called salinity swings, which basically means when the water evaporates from the tank, you always want to top that off with fresh water, as the salinity stays in here. And if you don't top off the evaporation with fresh water, your salinity goes up because the salt stays in the tank. And salinity swings happen very often in smaller tanks, which is why a lot of people recommend a 30-gallon or more. I started off with a 50-gallon, and that 50-gallon actually I'm going to tell a story about pretty soon to start off the new year. But I just wanted to show you the progress that is to come on this tank. This isn't evaporation. I just took some water out, so I'll be replacing that. But anyways, this is my first reef tank, as the downstairs saltwater did not end up doing corals well. So my main corals for this are probably going to be soft corals, because they are the easiest, as you don't need to feed them. They just get their nutrients from the light source. I want to have mainly zoanthids, pallies, and finger leather coral. And yeah, that is basically to show the progression on this tank. I'll probably make another update once I get the rock in here and maybe a coral or two, but this is basically all I have to start with, and thank you for watching. So while editing this video today, I just wanted to say two things. The first one, rest in peace to Kobe Bryant. If you didn't already know, today in California, he was taking a private helicopter ride and something went wrong, and he and his 13-year-old daughter passed away, along with 5 other passengers, which is really sad because he was considered to be one of the best players, and he was only 41, which is still relatively young. And I just want to say prayers go out to his family. And the second thing I would like to address is just wash your hands and avoid crowded places for now, as you probably know about the coronavirus that is going around right now. It has been confirmed in the US. 2 cases in California, Los Angeles, and Orange County. 1 in Arizona. They didn't say where in Arizona, but they confirmed it today. 1 in Chicago, and the first case in the US was in Washington State, which is where I live. And the death total has rose to, I believe, 86, if I'm correct. And the infected count has went to 2,000, so it is becoming a pretty serious thing. And I would just like to say, just wash your hands, avoid crowded areas, and stay safe. It can take up to 14 days for symptoms to show, and I heard they are working on a vaccine, but that is not until another month. So it is a pretty scary time we live in right now. And I would just like to thank you guys for watching. Have a good night or day. And if you did like this video, subscribe and hit the like bell. The like bell. I meant the like button, my bad. But stay safe, and this is Northwest Fish Keeping signing out. See you in the next video. Goodbye.